Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Parent Pivot podcast. We are so glad to be with you. We were on vacation last week and we had to run a best of Parent Pivot podcast. But I am one of your hosts, Steve Cummings.
And I'm Julia Cummings.
And we are getting into the fall. You all know that we live in Georgia, and I am like looking at the leaves coming down and the pine needles, and I'm just dreading having to go out there and get the blower, and I don't know. And you're not a fall fan, are you?
No, I'm a summer fan.
You're a summer fan and things.
Yeah.
So yes, we're definitely, the fall has come early. Here we are. We're heading into October this week, and so things are happening. I mean, it's college football season. Kids are away at college, and we have some exciting news.
Yes, we do.
Listen to this, everyone. Go for it.
We have grandchild number 6 born 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Daisy June. She was 8 pounds, 11 ounces.
She's
Very
a
big girl.
Yeah.
And although her sister that was born before her, who Ellis is 14 months, is that right? I hope I'm saying that
She's 3 months behind Florence, so she's about 16 months.
16 months. Florence was 8'6". Ellis was 8'6". And
it's only 6 more ounces.
Yes, but she's tiny, tiny. My point is, you can have a big baby and a little tiny human. So Ellis is a little tiny thing.
Yes, and she is a big sister now. It was kind of fun to watching a video of a 16-month-old looking at her 2-day-old baby sister.
Yeah.
And things like that. So yes, we are celebrating another grandchild. We do not have any more on the way that we know of. At least not from the oldest child.
Yeah. The oldest child's done.
Yes, they're done.
So they've got their 4. We'll see what happens with the other 3. So.
Yeah. We had 3 boys and a girl, and Wes and Chelsea had 3 girls and a boy.
Yes.
And stuff. So anyway, that's our exciting news to pass on to y'all. We love being grandparents, and we now have to figure out how we're going to get to the West Coast and when to go meet little Daisy in person.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. So we're excited about that. So pretty exciting weekend for us going on there. In fact, kind of all happened quickly.
It did. It happened very quickly. I think
they have a formula. They go to a certain restaurant for dinner, right?
The night before. Well, when they thought that she might be going into labor, they went to their local Lazy Dog, and it worked again. It's the second time that happened. So
if you're pregnant and you're eating at Lazy Dog right now, we're just telling you, be warned. There might be something in the food or the air or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not why we're here today.
That's not why we're here today.
We are here to talk about or talk to you parents of adult children, and hopefully give you some things to think about, some insights that maybe we've dealt with, maybe we haven't.
Well, really, it's all about awareness and then making you aware of things that maybe you haven't thought of.
Exactly.
Because we hear a lot of different stories and things, or we witness them and see them, or we spend time with friends and they're going through things or share some stuff. And we're like going, oh, that would make for a good Parent Pivot podcast topic.
Yes.
Good thing there's not another P in there. Presentation.
Yes.
Thanks. So what are we talking about today, sweetie?
So today I'm going to ask the question, do you have an adult child who perhaps, and it doesn't matter how many children you could have 2 or you could have 15, but maybe there's one that has stood out. Maybe there's one that was the easiest, or has been the most successful, or has gotten the best grades, or is just everything comes easily to them.
Everything they touch turns to gold, and it's so easy to just smile and going, gosh, that child is just,
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to call this child, you could call it your star child, your trophy child, your golden child, your whatever it is. But do you have one of those that perhaps stands out? And this is a question that you've got to be honest about, because keep in mind, just because there might be a child like that doesn't mean that you love any of them less or more. It's not about love or whatever, but it can affect how your other children perceive themselves. It could affect how you interact with all of your children. There's a plethora of things that this this topic can affect.
Sure. And without you realizing, and this is again, we're trying to look at blind spots. We're trying to point out things that
Right.
we hear about or see or experience, and it's kind of to raise it to the surface, because whether there's any intention in the heart at all, there's some dynamics that can come out that can mess with relationship.
Right. Right.
And that's really what we're trying to point out. We're trying to make you aware that, hey, if you've got an adult child like this who they've been successful in their career, they've chosen the right spouse, they bought their first house, and they've had those wonderful kids, and just, I mean, you cannot write a Disney fairy tale ending any better than
Right.
what you're watching with that one adult child.
Right.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be that they've gotten as far down the road as having children or even marriage, but you know what I'm talking about. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Even if it doesn't exist in your own family, perhaps you've seen it in someone else's. And so the idea is, like you said, is to be aware, to reflect on that, and then to reflect on perhaps how does it affect you? How is it? So let's say you've got two kids, okay? And one child just can't seem to figure life out. Maybe they're 25 and the other one is 27. But let's say the 25-year-old just can't quite figure life out. They haven't even graduated from college. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do. They haven't found that significant other. Perhaps they haven't even dated that much. And perhaps you just spend more time worrying about them. Let's say the 27-year-old is the total opposite. They've always known what they wanted to do. They got good grades. They got through. They found their spouse and all of those things.
And they're finding success in their career. I mean, just everything that's going right can go right.
Right.
You know, there's no suffering. There's no trouble. Life comes easy to that adult child.
Right. So let's step back and think, how does this affect our family dynamics?
Mm-hmm.
So I would think there would be a natural tendency that with the older one who seems to have their act together, that's one that you might talk to in a different way. You might confide in them. You might even ask their opinion. You might desire to go and be with them more because they're just easier.
Go ahead. I could also foresee that when you're together for family dinner or birthdays or whatever, they're bringing up stories about what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
Which is all
definitely
good, are all wonderful things.
Right.
And the other adult child is sitting there going, I'm a putz.
Right. So that's part of what you have to look at is your younger child in this scenario that I'm giving, is your younger child comparing themselves with that other child? Do they see themselves differently? Do they assume that you love this other child more than you love them? What is their narrative that is speaking into them? And what is your narrative in trusting your two kids with their own lives, of trusting your kids with decision making? Perhaps even it might show up at the holidays where you naturally are asking the 27-year-old, what works with you for Christmas? And you don't even consider the 25-year-old because, well, they have no significant other and they don't know what they're doing. So they'll just be along for the ride and we don't need to consider them. So it's little nuanced things that we need to be aware of that we just do without thinking. And this is really about thinking.
It is. And it's about having that connected relationship. So what would it feel like to be on the other side of mom and dad?
Right.
In that situation and things. And I think what I was also thinking too that we might want to mention is this might be a conversation you as mom and dad might want to have privately first.
Definitely.
And ask each other, hey, do we do that? Are there some instances where that happens in whatever part of life, you know, whether it's the holidays or just how often you call somebody or just you've got this golden child where nothing's going wrong. It's real easy as parents. It's like I don't have to be an intruding parent. I'm already a partner because they've got it figured out, and everything they do turns to gold. It's real easy to talk about that adult child and feel good about yourself and things. And now you're bragging about, oh, my son or my daughter,
Right.
has done this. They graduated honors out of such and such a school, and now they got this job, and now they're making X amount of money. It's like, are we having those conversations and bragging about the golden child?
Right.
And are we just kind of forgetting about the other child who's struggling?
And with that, I want to flip the
switch.
Flip the scenario too, to think about that other child that in this scenario, again, this 27-year-old who perhaps feels so much pressure because what if I let mom and dad down? Maybe that's what's driven them. You don't know.
Right.
You may have seen this natural tendency from the day they were born, but there's just something in our kids' heads, and we have done it ourselves. If you think back to your own family of origin, you can probably see it in your own family of what role you took, of how you perceived your family. Did you perceive somebody as being a favorite? Did you see yourself as being less than? Did you feel the pressure of being the star child where you had to get it all right all the time? I'm going to tell this story, and this is a story about my daughter when she was younger, early 20s, and she was going through a depression. And I remember having a conversation with her, and the one thing that came out, she was always a perfectionist. And we always told her, sweetheart, you don't have to do anything perfectly. You can mess up. It's okay, blah, blah, blah. But no matter how much we said that, she felt like she had to be perfect. One of the things that came out, we've got one daughter and 3 boys. When she was growing up, the boys know this, she was a little easier because she did what she was supposed to do. She always did her homework. She got the grades that, she was quote unquote supposed to get. She really didn't get in trouble, all of those things. And so as a parent, you're thinking, I want to do positive reinforcement. Thank you, sweetheart, for doing your practicing your piano. Thank you, sweetheart, for doing your homework when you were supposed to. And we think that we're doing positive reinforcement. And one of the things that came out in this conversation with her was she actually felt a lot of pressure because her brothers weren't doing all of that. They got in trouble and whatever else. And so there was something in her head that made her believe she had to be even more perfect. So while she already had this tendency, there was a narrative in her head that was being fed that we were completely unaware of. And that was a very big aha moment. It's like, okay, I could see how that could happen because, brother 1, 2, 3 might have been getting in a mess or in trouble or doing whatever. And she's just steady Eddie doing whatever. And let me tell you, if you have that steady Eddie child, chances are good that somewhere down the road in life, they will be less so. So we went through that stage with Jamie Lynn in her 20s. That was a little more difficult. But, when she was younger, this is what was happening. And this was her narrative. So that's the type of thing that I'm trying to bring to light that, and I wouldn't have even said Jamie Lynn was our star child. Each of our kids, and you probably think this about your kids, each of our kids has their own gifts and things that they excelled at, that they were amazing at.
I think the boys would say growing up that, Jamie Lynn, because she was the only girl, she got things a little differently because it's like she's my only little princess. And
right. So they thought she got away with more.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah.
But where I want to go with this is if you still got that golden child as your adult child, how do we pivot in that dimension?
Right.
If in fact, we have been showcasing them and sharing stories or whatever, and it really kind of goes back to our overarching theme to this podcast, and that is to be able to know who your adult child is, not what they do. And the more you can pour into them and affirm their character, what you see. I mean, that adult child is what Julie was talking about, setting up the hypothetical scenario, the younger 25-year-old, that whatever. It's like they still have wonderful qualities.
Absolutely.
And things. And for whatever reason, the older child has a trajectory of, doing much better. I mean, think of Joseph and his brothers. I mean, kind of the same thing. Favorite child there, right? It's like, hey, and they turned against him, and we all know how that one ended, and things. But how can we, as pivoting parents to partners, be aware of that and be able to be sensitive and compassionate and empathetic all the way around in the family dynamic? It's maybe sometimes we might have to own something too.
Yeah.
Maybe if we have overdone it, it might be having a conversation not as a family, but with your other children. Hey, in case I was just praying or listening to the podcast, I don't know, however way you look at things, and just wondering, hey, I want you to know how much I really love you for who you are. And I know that, so-and-so child is always, everything they do is great, but I'm just as proud of you as I am of them. Everything they do, yes, but there will come a time when there will be some suffering or a difficult time. But I want you to know, as mom or as dad, you mean the world to me. Okay. And this isn't about success in this world. I mean, some folks, and we have one child who's always got issues coming up, whether it's been, with injuries and things like that. And we just pour into him and let him know you are no different than any of the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
We love you for who you are. And all of our kids understand and know that. Yeah. We don't have one golden child.
No, I consider all of them big.
Maybe we have
shining,
4 golden children. Well, we pour into them equally.
We have 4 shining stars.
Actually, we have 8.
That's true. We've got 4 extras. Which, yeah.
Only
definitely.
4 have our DNA. I always like to say we have 8 kids, and our 4 of them have our DNA.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Shout out to the in-law kids.
That is what has been on my heart as we have been out and about talking with people and hearing different stories and things like that. So just again, I want to take it back to the beginning statement of just self-awareness, asking yourself some hard questions about this particular topic. And what do you think? And like Steve said, I think it would be great to talk to your spouse and say, hey, what do you think we've done? Have you seen this? Have you seen me do it? I've maybe seen you do this, that, or the other thing. Let's have a conversation about that.
The whole goal is don't create a fight between the two of you.
No.
So if husband says to wife and one of you is doing it a lot more than the other, it's to be able to say, hey, we probably need to tone it down. And it's not a slam on you, so don't get offended and hurt. What we want to do is you want relationship with your kids, and you want the same deep, emotionally connected relationship with all of them. Yes, you might, one's more successful, but I mean, try not to create a fight.
Right.
Try to have a heart to heart. Go out on a date. Go get some ice cream. Go to Brewster's. We've done. In fact, maybe go to Brewster's tonight.
Not everybody has Brewster's, so he's talking about ice cream.
Can we go to Brewster's tonight?
We'll see.
Oh, dang it. Or Cinnabon in the morning.
Wow.
Anyway, find something that you enjoy doing. Want to go for a walk after the podcast?
Sure.
I'm going to hold you to that.
You're being annoying.
I'm trying to have a date with you to see if I'm just trying to set up a scenario here.
We're talking to people.
I'm sorry. Yes. Anyway, so we wanted to bring that subject up for the golden child and how to approach that. And a lot of it's just going to be putting a mirror in front of you and saying, hey, how are we at this? And maybe you're doing great and things and stuff. So
let me say one more thing that just popped in my head too. Oftentimes with a child where everything's come easy for them and they're excelling, there might be an expectation on their part that perhaps they see themselves as better. I don't know. Perhaps they see themselves as wiser, or having their act more together than their other siblings. So be aware of that also. And I'm just thinking sometimes saying no is okay. It's easier to say yes to them than perhaps another sibling. I'm not sure. I'm literally just posing questions for you to think about and talk about.
Right.
These are just out there scenarios that something to, wonder.
Right. And I can also imagine too, on a spectrum, you can go all the way over to, maybe that golden child is feeling entitled and a little arrogant or whatever. But on the softer side, maybe they're completely humble and wise and leading their life, and things just continue to just go fine for them and stuff. And then everything in between. So it kind of all depends. So again, this podcast is really more about being aware of conversations about things that you have and looking through this lens of talking about the golden child way too much.
And just asking yourself hard questions. And oftentimes we're posing that, like ask yourself these hard questions. So that's all I got.
Okay. Wanted to mention one thing coming up on October the 13th. We will be on Grand Monday night with Legacy Coalition. So we'll put a link down here. We'd love for you to need to sign up ahead of time. Yes, down below, wherever in the show notes, where you clicked on the podcast or the YouTube thing. We'll put a link to that. You need to sign up ahead of time. And we're going to talk about the principles in our book and things. So if you want a copy of that, we'll put a link to that in there too. But if you're a grandparent, what a great resource this organization is. We found out about it through our podcast and things through Jim Burns, who told us to interview Wayne Rice. And next thing you know, we're at the Grandparenting Summit. We put that in our show notes quite a bit because we're grandparents of 6 now and things. So be thinking about that.
And you don't have to be a grandparent to listen to this podcast. You can have an 18-year-old and other kids at home. The principles still apply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stuff. So, and there's little Florence looking through the glass window. So it's time for Pop and Juju to sign off. That's Juju waving at little Florence. Thank you for listening. We love coming to you guys every week on Tuesday with new content. And we will be back again next week with another episode of the Parent Pivot Podcast.
Bye.